We're going live. Hello, everyone. I think we're live. If we're not live, I apologize. Welcome to my webcam. Welcome to the post-practice stream. It's going to be really weird to talk into a camera during one of these things because I really don't know how any of this is going to work. But since we can't do live content at the track, we're going to try to do it this way, and I hope you guys like it. Clearly, there was 150 people waiting to come in at the beginning, which is crazy. And before we get going, you'll see at the bottom of the screen, we are dropping merch on Monday at 4 p.m. And I'm actually wearing one of the shirts right now. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try to get it up there. This is not the only shirt that's going to be on offer from our partner at Race 92. We've got some good stuff and some stuff that you guys have been asking for a while. So I'm excited. Wow, we got 181 people watching right now. So yeah, if you're one of those 180 people, and let's say, for example, you want a shirt of a certain cat that loves popcorn, you might want to check this channel at 4 p.m. on Monday. We've got a ton of stuff to discuss. I've got one of my good friends in here to help me discuss it. We've got Kyle Cuthbertson, a.k.a. Racing Nation TV. Kyle, there are 204 people watching right now. What do you have to say to them right now?
What's up, guys? It's awesome that IndyCar is back. This is an awesome day. What a group, just amazing, and I'm so excited. And finally, we get to talk about some IndyCar.
Okay, so I think what's important right now is to go straight to the practice results, and we're going to bring up a graphic here. I hope this works, but this is your Fast 6 for the Geneysis 300 at Texas. We had Scott Dixon, a mile and a half hour faster than everybody else, 215.9 miles per hour. And you will notice, international folks, I have also added the kilometers per hour speed so that it may be easier for you guys to kind of understand how fast or slow some of these drivers have gone. We've kind of got a rivalry, an IndyCar rivalry going here, picking up from the last laps of Texas last year. Colton Herta in second position at 214.4 miles per hour. Pato O'Ward, this was a surprise to me, and it's going to be one of those things that we're going to talk about moving on throughout this stream, is that Pato O'Ward put a big number up there right at the end of the session and is the fastest Chevy in the field right now, and in fact the only one I think in the top 7 or 8. Zach Veach, another surprise, I would say. A lot of surprises actually so far. Veach kind of struggled at Texas the last couple times he's been there, but he's running 4th right now after practice at 214.2 miles an hour. Marco Andretti, who was actually leading the practice for what felt like quite a while, and actually finally ended up P5, but it looks like Marco, well then again, I don't want to say that. I almost said it's Marco's year, but I feel like that's a meme at this point. And then P6, Takuma Sato, who qualified in the pole position last year, looked like he was set to go on to a dominating victory, but had a crash in the pit lane last year. So looking at that top 6, or maybe, Kyle, you want to bring up some of the guys further back in the field that we want to talk about. What kind of stood out to you from the first practice session?
What really stood out to me was, it's very obvious that nobody, I think, was going to work on qualifying. I really think that nobody really saw qualifying as being important. There were very few no-toe speeds up, and Colton Herta actually was one of the few that put one up.
Do we have a no-toe? I didn't see a no-toe
on
time.
the IndyCar race control site. There are no-toe speeds.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who. So top no-toe was Sato actually.
Oh, there you go.
210 no-toe.
He was, and again, he was the pole sitter last year, so it would make sense that Takuma's going to be very fast in qualifying. But I gotta say, if Dixon put up a 216 almost, you're telling me that he wasn't running a qualifying setup?
Well, you gotta think it's in a tow. Had to have had the perfect run. Also, shout out the first race with Scott Dixon for Michael Cannon with a brand new engineer, totally different for him. He's been with the same team forever, so I think that is just totally out of the blue and just like.
Well, and that was a big thing. Actually, I forgot. I should have moved that down to the Patreon, underneath Patreon stuff. But Yeah, that's kind of a big thing to me is I don't know what the heck I'm moving around there. Elgato's, or not Elgato, Streamlabs is weird sometimes. But that was something I was going to bring up is the fact that, well, they're going to see my webcam then. We're still figuring this out, folks. But what was I talking about? Oh, Michael Cannon. Yeah, that was something I was going to mention about Scott Dixon and Geneysis Racing to a certain extent, is that they added Michael Cannon to the engineering squad. And what's important about that, or what's to keep in mind about that, is anytime Dale Coyne Racing was fast the last couple of years, particularly if you think about Santino Ferrucci, that would be Michael Cannon and his engineering. So seeing that at Geneysis right now, that's a very potent combination. So we're back webcam wise. I'm going to look at the chat right now. I want to bring up something right off the bat since we kind of need to talk about it. Is the PJ1 traction compound, or maybe the washed off PJ1 traction compound? Because what it looks like right now is that this race is going to be a one groove racetrack, and I think a lot of people are kind of worried about the start of this race because you essentially have one groove, and in fact I'll try to bring this up on my Twitter right now, but we have one groove and that's about it, and the other, as soon as the traction compound, which is about a groove and a half up the track, anytime anybody gets into that, they are in big trouble. Now, Kyle, can you kind of expand on this a little bit, because I'm still trying to understand. There was traction compound on the track, and now there isn't, or how much of it is left? Have you heard anything about how exactly they supposedly washed off this traction compound?
Yeah, that was one thing I was wondering about. So obviously they put the traction compound down for the NASCAR events, but it was not reapplied for the IndyCar event this weekend. So I don't think it was washed off, but obviously over time sitting it will wash off. And what I'm wondering, what I would like to know, what I want to figure out is whether a washed off traction compound is slicker, or what. Like, obviously it doesn't have the same amount of grip as it would if it was newly applied. But yeah, it's something I'm thinking of.
So chat, I have an image of this up that I posted. I took a screenshot of my NBC Gold during watching the practice, and you can see right here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. You may not be able to, but you have the traction compound is the black groove, which is about, I don't know, God, it looks like it's about 3 car lengths, maybe 4 or 5. The Texas Motor Speedway now is like so wide in turn 1 and 2. I don't know how to exactly describe that, but it's several lanes wide, and that's where we saw most of the passes happening last year. Was cars passing, getting brave and going around the outside of turn 1, right?
Well, the traction compound, I believe, was there last year too, because Texas has done this with turns 1 and 2, at least with the PJ1 for, I think, the last 2 seasons with NASCAR. Someone did say that they attempted to wash it off, but it comes up not, son. And that was another thing I just thought of to remember, is obviously in the middle of the day in Texas, the track temp right now is extremely hot. And as we get into the night, and the track temp cools down, there's probably, I would say, going to be a ton more grip in the middle of 1 and 2, but it's still something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that's something that too. I was thinking that maybe during the night the grip will pick up, but the problem is, and we saw this in the NASCAR race at Charlotte for the 600, was the traction compound only works when cars run in it, and the Indy cars inherently, because they're Indy cars, are not as stable as stock cars. So the Indy cars couldn't activate whatever traction compound is left over, the residue, from what they washed off, because apparently so this is how I understand it, and thanks to all 374 people watching this right now, that's crazy for a live stream, but this is how I understand it. They had traction compound up there. It sounds like my camera just went off, so I'm going to hit that button again, make sure I didn't lose it. Well, it doesn't matter because I got that up, but this is how I understand it, is the traction compound was there from last November's NASCAR race. They power washed the traction compound off. The question that I've had is, how much of that traction compound is still on the racetrack, and how much is it affecting the handling of these cars? Because that's what I saw in practice. Again, I wish I had access to video so I could show you some of this stuff. But there was a point where Marcus Ericsson tried to pass, I think it was Colton Herta, around the outside into turn one, got into that traction compound, and just shot straight up to up the track. And one of the kind of things we're seeing as well, and we saw it with Ryan Hunter-Reay crash. We haven't even gotten into all the crashes that happened during the practice session, but we saw Ryan Hunter-Reay behind a couple of cars. He got aero push, which is, of course, a thing that you've got to expect with Indy cars on oval tracks. But then he pushed wide into that traction compound. It looked like he just completely lost all grip, smacked the outside wall, and that may be par for the course tonight. Again, I'm hoping that the track grips up once you have more running on it. But again, this was our one practice session today, and I don't imagine qualifying is really going to lay down much more rubber, particularly not on that top groove. I don't know. It's a little messy right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think we just have to hope that when cooler track temperatures, that the track, when it cools down, gets a little bit more rubbered in the race, and hopefully these guys drive smart. One thing I think for sure today is, they know the stakes, so safety first, fun second. I just gotta hope that there's more grip when it comes to the nighttime.
So we did have a couple of accidents today. In fact, quite a few, more than I think we really wanted to see, and we never want to see crashes in these types of cars. But Ed Carpenter Racing hit really, really hard in this practice session. We lost Rinus VeeKay right off the bat. I mean, they were running in the rookie session. So what happened today is this afternoon they had a rookie only session, which contained, it was 5 guys. So it was the 2 McLaren drivers of Award and Askew. You had the Pelot. And then you had Rinus VeeKay and Jack Harvey. And VeeKay was fast right out of the gate. He was over 220 220. That would have been a real amazing speed. No, he was over 206 miles per hour. And then got low in the groove, touched the apron, and this was the end result. Car smacked the wall in turn 4, spun down the track. Thankfully, he did walk away. But then we also saw Ed Carpenter, teammate to Rinus VeeKay, spun the car out coming out of turn 4. He thankfully did not make as much contact. In fact, I think he actually got right back out later on that session. But none of these guys who have crashed, which are Hunter-Reay, Ed Carpenter, and Rinus VeeKay, are really in good shape right now. That's kind of like the nightmare scenario with limited practice to begin with. This is the first time any of these guys have been out on the track since St. Pete, essentially. I don't think anybody's done any testing for IndyCar outside of, I guess, the filming for NBC with Simon and Rossi. But the Ed Carpenter Racing in particular, I felt real bad because I know for a fact we saw the photos of VeeKay's team. They're actually pulling parts off of a road course car that is Connor Daly's primary on the road courses, and they're fixing that right now.
Yeah, that VeeKay car, that's going to be a Frankenstein car with some U.S. Air Force pieces on it. I mean, Ed's obviously wasn't as bad. I think that car's fine, pretty good at least. But especially, Rinus VeeKay being a rookie too. Starting your first IndyCar oval and only getting 11 laps in the session. That's got to be going into the race. If they can get out there. Oof.
Well,
real bad for them.
Well, let's address the elephant in the room. Is it going to be a crash fest? Silence. Is it going to be a crash fest?
Ugh. It's either going to be or it's not at all. It's so 50-50 on what tonight's going to be.
Streamlabs is weird. I'm going to try it. Whoop. still moving Rinus VK's image around. Here's the photo of that I was able to capture during the Gold broadcast. This is what Ed Carpenter's car looked like. Again, he just barely. I think he clipped the outside wall a couple of times with the rear of the car, knocked down some tires, but really nothing particularly miserable about that. We've got 464 people watching right now. I just want to thank all of you for coming out. If you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button. It'll help more people see this and join the discussion. So, let's see. Yeah, the Crash Fest. I think that's something I want to kind of touch on a little bit more, because I think some people are really genuinely nervous about this race.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people nervous. When I don't have NBC Gold, so I was just listening to the IndyCar radio broadcast. And one of the first things I heard from the announcers was them thinking, with the 2019 tire and added weight and going slower. To put that in perspective, practice 1 last year ended on a 219, and we're running 215s, and most of the field's running well beyond that. So with the lower speeds, last year's tire, they were thinking immediately it's going to be a pack race. And then as the session goes on, turn 1 and 2 looks one groove, and the PJ1 has less grip. So it's just, I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a pack race. It's a one-groove racetrack. I'm pretty confident in saying it's going to be a one-groove racetrack. Even if that PJ1 comes in, it looks like aero push is a big thing. And that's probably, again, I'm not an engineer. This is a theory. But from what I understand, having that higher center of pressure or higher center of weight with the aero screen, 50 pounds on top of the car, I imagine that has affected the balance of the cars. And they haven't, the rookies had a day here, a day of testing, but most of the teams haven't been here. So they have all their models and computer, all their computer stuff, but they don't have any practical application to what it's going to be like to race with this aero screen at Texas. And I'm not talking from a visibility standpoint here. I want to be very clear. I'm talking about simply how the car is going to react. These are totally different types of Indy cars that are thrust onto a 220 mile an hour oval for the first time. So it's going to be a big challenge. And that's something I think I do want to bring up, since you brought it up, and we need to talk about it, is that you will notice the left side tires will be red sidewalled, or they'll at least have the red Firestone lettering, which we see at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, because they are literally the tires that were not used for last year's Indianapolis 500. The tires on the outside, are they 2020 models, or are they, I couldn't remember specifically, are they last year Texas tire?
I believe they're last year's Texas. It might be a new tire, but I don't think Firestone's had enough time to do things, obviously, because of all the closing, which is, going to be maybe a problem tonight. But by the way, I didn't mean to pack race. I meant to say Crash Fest.
Oh, okay. Well, I was confused there. I was like, "What are you seeing? Yeah. How are you seeing a pack race coming out of this?"
Yeah, because as we saw in 2017, the way they redid 1 and 2, it's not. I wouldn't say 17 was a pack race, but it was definitely a Crash Fest. So it's just 50-50 on how that goes.
Let me try to I'm going to try to bring up the full results from the practice. And we're gonna. So there were a couple of surprises. Well, let me bring this up. It looks like the Hondas are very quick right now, and that's kind of a surprise, because last year on the ovals, it certainly looked like the Chevys really could have their way with the Hondas. Now we kind of have to keep in mind, and I'm probably answering what you're probably going to say, is that this is a handling racetrack, and Texas has gone from the pack race that we've seen in the past to, I would almost say, like a 200 mile an hour road course, almost like I wouldn't say a street circuit, but it's Texas is just totally different than it used to be, and
yeah,
it's unfortunate because it doesn't look like there's going to be a second groove. And I think most of the chaos we are going to see today is going to be guys getting impatient, trying to work that second groove in, and having an accident. That would be my guess. We'll see.
Well, not having a full second groove could be, it could be, I mean, it could be awful, right? But then again, it also does put in a position where it's like, when things do happen, it's going to be spectacular and it's going to, probably blow your mind. So that's also a possibility.
Well, I'll put it this way: you're gonna earn the passes tonight.
Yes.
That's for sure.
But you had to last year as well, remember?
Well, yeah, but last year it wasn't like an instant crash when you tried to pass somebody. That's what I'm kind of fearing right now, is that it's going to be a disaster from the standpoint. And I don't mean disaster. So you have to be careful when you say, "Oh, it's going to be a disaster." I mean a disaster from the standpoint of there are going to be guys on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
There are going to be guys on the struggle bus. So speaking of the struggle bus, I want to talk about some of the guys at the bottom of the field. And this is the story I wanted to track because we talked about it in the beginning. Michael Cannon leaving Dale Coyne Racing and moving over to Geneysis. Santino Ferrucci, 22nd, and one of the slowest cars in the field. In fact, behind a couple of cars that crashed, it looks like, Ryan Hunter-Reay in particular. Jack Harvey. What was going on with Jack Harvey?
I was wondering that throughout the session, too.
We're saying turn Kyle up. I can turn myself down.
I
Yeah.
was wondering about Jack during the session, too. I have no idea what happened there.
Well, see, that's the thing that I was going to talk about, is that Jack Harvey has Andretti components. Look how many Andretti cars are in that top half of the field, and he's down quite a ways. And that wasn't what we kind of were to expect from Jack Harvey last year, which was he was almost, wow, we got 500 viewers right now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you guys so much. That's kind of what we came to expect from Jack Harvey. He was kind of the giant slayer last year, and he hasn't been at the moment. Let's point out a few more guys.
There is a good point being made about Jack Harvey, though. Remember that Texas was the one race that he hasn't done before. This is basically a rookie race for Jack Harvey.
He hasn't done all
Texas.
the non-Indy ovals. He has not done.
Yeah.
So he did. Wow, yeah, and that is crazy that we're over 500 views right now. Thank you guys so much. Like the stream if you're enjoying it. Seriously, this is we're changing the game. I was hoping that this would do something like this, but I'm happy to see the results. Yes, Jack Harvey has not run the non-Indy ovals, but and maybe their strategy could just be, we are going to finish this race. We're going to come out with good points or better points than all the guys who crash. And learn. That may be the strategy. We may look at this race, to be honest with you, at the end of the season and say, boy, don't you wish you'd been patient at Texas?
Yeah.
And now we're over 200 likes. That is crazy. But yeah, no, go on, Kyle.
The one thing I wanted to point about Andretti is it seems apparent to me. And it's one thing they're known for is in the practice sessions, every driver will be testing out a different setup. Because it is definitely odd to have, 3 out of the top 5 be Andretti, but then you have, Rossi and Hinch in the back. I mean, obviously what happened to Hunter-Reay and then Jack Harvey for that matter, but it's just to see 3 out of the top 5 and then Rossi in 16th. The one thing they are known for is going for different setups in every car. So that appears to me what probably happened.
Well, so, and here's another thing to think about, and I guess I've kind of been stupid in not pointing it out. This is a day practice session. It's incredibly hot.
Yeah.
The race is at night. We saw a lot of the big teams, particularly Penske. You look at Joseph Newgarden and Simon Pagenaud sitting there in 7th and 8th. They might not have shown everything. They might be running a little less downforce, maybe a little bit more downforce, depending on what they're kind of expecting. And then you look at some of the other guys. You look at Will Power, mid-pack. Alexander Rossi, mid-pack. Tony Kanaan, mid-pack. You wonder if some of these guys are kind of anticipating what the track's going to be like at lap 190 rather than lap 1. And that may be the saving grace of this race, is you may be seeing the comers and goers. we may see guys running up front at the start of the race who are not running up front at the end. That's my hope anyway. I mean, we can see if that's going to be the case. Let me show you guys something that I'm really happy about. Let me do some work in here real quick. How do you feel about I'm gonna bring this topic up. Talk to me a little bit about the aero screen, Kyle. What were you kind of seeing? Did you notice it? Did you not notice it?
I'm at the point now where I think it looks good. The only thing I'm not worried about vision. What I'm worried about is, when you see all the dirt and grime on the cars, at Indy, if, things like that. I'm just interested in how they're going to work at the end of a full stint, because I don't think they've been done on an oval for a full stint. So it's definitely one of the biggest stories coming into the day is how this aero screen is definitely being put on put in a big spot here.
Yeah, I think from a looks perspective, I'm not too concerned about it anymore. And as you're seeing on the
people are over it now.
Well, as you're seeing on the screen right now, we also get the Al Unser Jr. camera back. And if you don't know what the Al Unser Jr. camera is, it's the one pointed directly at the driver and his helmet. I love that perspective. I'm so glad it is back. It looks so badass. That just makes me so happy. So happy to see that. I'm so glad it's back.
I love how you have the Infineon logo circle.
Well, that was the highest quality image I captured, because I had another one, but it was kind of a smaller. Yeah, and for some reason, Schmidt has Infineon sponsorship, which as a Gran Turismo viewer or a player,
picture all the way through just makes you feel nostalgic, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And you know what? Here's something that I will say. In terms of the anxiety that I think we all get before IndyCar oval races, whether we want to admit it or not, I feel a lot more confident in the driver's safety with the aero screen there. And that's the thing that makes me happy about it being there. We kind of need to talk about, I mean, we don't want to dwell on that kind of possibility, but I think it is a possibility. And the fact that if there's a big crash and there's debris flying all over the place, nobody hopefully will get hit by any of it. And so I think that's the big takeaway and the thing that I'm happy that is the result of the aero screen. Wow, we have 573 people watching right now. And this is just the first stream. We're doing 2 more of these today, and we're doing a full race review live as well. It's going to be fantastic. This is a good sign. I'm excited. Go on, Kyle.
Well, I mean, I feel the same way, where I do feel a bit better with it being on, but I mean, first race with it, I'm still kind of, I feel like I'll be feeling a lot better over time with this. First race, you still, it's not proven in the eyes of, the public yet. So,
well, that's something that I've heard it, that's something that Graham Rahal brought out specifically, is that things used to change every year back in the day. Like this has only been a lost art in the last couple of years, where Indy cars are not changing and they've remained stagnant. Like, this used to be the norm, and it wasn't always safety devices. Oftentimes it was teams cutting corners and possibly making their cars not as safe to try to win the race. So I as much as I want to be a Debbie Downer about it, I can't be. It's not a big deal. Look, man, I was at Pocono 2015. Do I ever want to see something like that again? Hell no. So from that perspective, and I just saw Jacob bring up a good point. What happens when the car flips over? That's a concern. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. I remember it was pretty funny when, not funny, but it was ironic. I guess I will say that do you remember when Nico Hülkenberg flipped over at Abu Dhabi a couple of years ago, and the FIA came out with some big stupid press release that said, "Oh yeah, he could have gotten out. He wasn't trapped under that burning car." I was like, "No, yeah, he was. Just stop." Like, there are always going to be unintended consequences to new safety innovations, right? Especially when they're brand new. So accepting or just pointing out that, yeah, if the car's upside down and on fire, it's potentially going to be more dangerous than it was in the past. But I guess you have to say, what is the percent chance of that happening versus a tire flying into somebody's lap? You know, that's that's the kind of thing that I kind of look at and say, especially at a track like this, and under these circumstances, I would rather err on the safe side. Let's see what the chat's having to say. We're saying mid-70s in Fort Worth tonight. So a fairly cool race today. I'm gonna go back to the face cam as much as so I'm gonna have to mute like a bunch of stuff here. All the images, I think. Image. There's another image. Bye. Still another image. Where's that other image? There. We're back. Let's see what the chat is having to say here. Want to see Pato winning. Do we think Pato could win? What do you think?
He's just, it's all depending. I mean, this goes for everyone, but especially for Pato, you know. Since he's a rookie in his first, you know, just got to stay patient. And if he stays patient, he'll have a shot, I think.
Ian Cadwell says Wehrlein crashed at Monaco and got wedged into the wall with the halo. No.
That would say Wehrlein?
Wehrlein? Yeah, he's German.
Verlein.
Is it Wehrlein? Okay.
Yeah. He's
Wehrlein.
The point you just made.
Yeah, I'm stupid. Wehrlein. But no, Wehrlein, that was 2017, and that was the last year without the halo. Rain in Fort Worth at 1 a.m. Well, I don't think that. I hope that's not a problem. I hope they're not racing until 1 a.m. That's going to be a lot of yellows if that's the case. NASCAR fan is predicting. NASCAR fans predicting Herta will win the championship, which is interesting.
Herta's smart. He did tell us at the Rolex that his goal this year was to be in at least contention at the end. Which he's smart. He's a smart kid.
Oh, I turned off the Race 92 logo. That's not good. That's not what we want to. Where'd the Race 92 logo go?
Cooling concerns with windscreen.
There it is.
That was a topic this week. Was the cooling, which it's weird to see. I will point out it's weird to see the IndyCar drivers with like the NACA ducts in their helmets.
Well, Paul Zimmerman says something interesting. Refire. I'm more concerned about a Dixon Indy 500 crash than fire. 6 more inches and Dixie would have been gravely injured. Fire is rare these days, thanks God. Yeah, that's and that kind of goes back to my point of the aero screen, is that ultimately the head is the weak point, obviously, and the head being exposed, that was a risk. And so the fact that IndyCar has changed that, Formula One has changed that, pretty much every major open wheel series in the world, as far as I'm concerned, has done that at this point. It makes sense. It makes sense. What kind of a year do you think Rahal will have, says Gavin? A year like 2015 or a year where he struggles? He's pretty fast, isn't he?
Do you want my bias? Do you want my bias prediction or my prediction?
I would rather you stay objective, Mr. Ohio.
My objective opinion is he'll do. I think he'll do better than. It's all about luck with Rahal. It's all about luck because if he goes under the radar a lot and he's usually fast, but they just catch these problems and ends up ruining the day. Like I believe like 3 or 4 races in the last 2 years have been from his battery like exploding. So it's all down to luck, I guess.
Well, and just to point out, where'd my timing go? I don't know where the timing went. Oh, there it is. And just for example, I'm going to pull this into the corner of the screen just so we're kind of seeing this, is that Rahal is 9th. And that, I mean, it doesn't mean too much, obviously, because of the fact that we don't know the conditions. We don't know how the track is going to change, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. But he's not terrible. Not terrible right now.
I mean, I don't think it's biased to say that at Texas or any oval, Rahal is probably going to be good. I think that's a prediction. That is a solid prediction.
Joshua says something interesting. He says, traction compound takes heat to activate. With the night temperatures, it's going to be them avoiding it. It's going to be a slick one-groove night. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting. We'll see. I would say most of the passes are going to be drivers missing the corner, getting out of the groove, or just having to back off for some reason and getting a run and passing on the straightaways.
Well, if
That
it's
that would be
true,
my guess.
what I think like perfect scenario here is that it's true, that if it's true that the PJ1 is washed off, but the sun, makes it kind of seep up and get kind of greasy. I think that would be, best case scenario. And then through the night, once, more rubber through 1 and 2, and they'll be able to start, getting things done through there. I think that's probably the best case scenario where it could happen.
We had a question on starting time. 8 o'clock Eastern on the big NBC. And they're also doing qualifying on TV, which that changed. I don't know when that changed, but qualifying is on NBC Sports.
Cool.
And NBC
and
Gold.
You might recognize some faces in the pre-race.
You might. We'll see.
I hope they did. Okay. I hope.
I was sworn to secrecy. Let's see. Yeah, people are complaining about the PJ1 compound a lot. Yeah, I mean...
Super chat.
Oh, super chat. Draco Rosso. If Sato doesn't crash at TMS, he'll be the champion. Well, let's think about that for a second. A lot of the tracks that he's not very good at are no longer on the schedule.
What were those? What was he not?
Well, never mind. No, that's not true. I guess. Well, no. Well,
I don't.
There's
the
two
thing about that is I don't see a track that I'll point at and say Sato's not good at.
Texas. Texas
he's usually
is the
good
one.
at Texas.
He crashes though.
Be patient.
It's Sato.
Yeah.
Laguna Seca maybe not so much, but if you look at it, they're running 2 at Iowa. Are they running 2 at Portland? They're running 2 at Portland, aren't they?
No, it's just 1.
Oh, just 1? Well, he can't double up the points there. Gateway, Indy. Indy's the only double points race. I don't know.
Sato, it goes for every track for Sato. If he can finish the race, he's usually in the top 10. So I mean, if he finishes races and stays consistent, then he'll be in the running for sure. If that's Sato, that's all it is for Sato. Is he just needs to stay consistent and finish.
Michael Robinson says, David used to work for SCCA Medical for many years, so know how to extract drivers. Wondering what issues the screen will cause. I mean, I think I think the big thing is just how long it will take them to cut the screen off so that they could pull a driver out if they needed to.
So,
I think that's
as far as I know, it doesn't take long at all, and they wouldn't have to cut the screen off. It's made specifically so you can pull the screen off as quickly as possible if need be. And the other thing that makes me feel really good is I believe I've
Barbara Smith with a thumbs up. Thank you so much, Barbara.
I've heard that so how they test it is how fast the driver can get out of the car from sitting in, and I've heard that the time for getting out, even for a tall guy like Graham, is pretty much the same or faster. So
yeah,
that's what makes me feel better.
we're specifically talking about problems that could arise, and I'm specifically mentioning that a car getting upside down is my concern, and that's really, and again, like Paul mentioned, is that a car getting upside down without driver injury and without fire isn't really a huge deal, right? I mean, I hate to say it that way, but you would be able to extract a driver. Chances are they're going to walk away from it. But that's going to be the thing.
Without the screen, I don't. I mean, there's some scenarios where it could play a different factor in with the air screen being there. But really, I think screen being there. I mean, the only thing is you're not going to be able to crawl out from the side while it's upside down. The team's going to have to get it over. But
I mean, how many times were you able to crawl out from underneath an upside down car before the aero screen? Like did Sato last year?
Sato did.
Okay.
Sato did.
But he's a small guy.
Yeah.
He's one of the smallest drivers. So
Graham probably would not be able to do that.
Yeah.
Graham is the biggest in the field. So
somebody says leaked VK replaced by McGinnis. I should see what Robert's doing. We might be able to get him on. Oh, there we go. We lost the camera. I got to go back.
I love Robert.
Yeah, I feel. I know this is not an Indy Lights stream, and I'm sure the 566 people watching right now do not want to hear about Indy Lights. But man, what a shame! What a shame.
Man. Well, I will tell you, I was at Road America last week, which was amazing. And I will tell you now that Indy Pro and USF 2000 is going to be worth watching this year. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah,
Really
can
cool
can
this
you
year.
plug what you were doing there?
I was with our boy Braden Eves with exclusive Autosport, helping him film a video for his YouTube channel that should be coming out in a couple days. I was doing some photos for them, and just they had a one-day test at Road America, and it was a blast.
Yep, we're just under an hour till qualifying. We'll go for about 20 more minutes. I want to make this an hour show, and then we'll watch qualifying, and we'll be back here just after qualifying ends, which I think is around 5. I don't remember exactly what I scheduled the stream to end for, but or to start, but and then the race starts. What's up?
When is qualifying?
It's like 5 or 6, somewhere around there. Somebody said it's under an hour till qualifying, so I would assume that means 5.
Oh yeah.
My friend is racing in USF 2000 this year. Well, who's your friend, Jacob? Expose him.
If it's, I know a couple of the USF guys now. I know Prescott. And, Christian Rasmussen. He's, Christian Brooks. Christian Brooks is another guy that
Justice
I was
for
with.
Jabel.
Justice for Jabel. He races with exclusive. So
Jabel's in F4 this year, I believe.
He's in F3.
F3.
He might do some like Indy Pro races. He might do like 1 or 2. I don't even know.
David should sneak into TMS to give us coverage tonight. I don't think I'd be able to get a plane ticket in time.
Yeah, how would we get there?
But let's be honest here. Unless you work for NBC, Super Chat, I see it. I'll just say this real quick. Unless you work for NBC, probably not going to be able to get good coverage at racetracks for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I will tell you, I was pretty damn depressed about Indy getting yeeted.
Well, even Roger was pretty damn depressed.
That's what I've heard. But I'm working on other options. I don't want to necessarily say what they are because they might fall through. But it's a shame that Indy didn't happen. But I am working to get this channel back at a real racetrack pretty soon. Taurus says, spent a lot of time with RTI drivers, teams at race weekends. Need to keep those open access series strong. And I think the 2 lower cost series are because they still have like 20 cars for the 2. NBC rating over 1 million or under. Are we talking? It would be over. I think it'll be over 1 million. I think the goal should for IndyCar, a successful night tonight is a 1.0 in the TV ratings. Because NASCAR is getting about, after the first week where they were the first sport back, where they got like a 3.6, they've been pretty solidly around 2. So if IndyCar can get half of what NASCAR gets on network television, I think it's a win. If they get over 1.0, it's a smashing success. If they get under it, it's bad. It's real bad. By the way, we got 550 people watching in here. 277 likes. Can we get that to 300 in the next 20 minutes? I think we can. Thank you guys all for tuning out. This is or tuning in. don't tune out yet. But this is awesome. I was hoping something like this would be successful, and it has. You guys are just as hungry for this for racing to get back as I am, and it's kind of cool to do this kind of in a live setting. It's cool to talk about all our thoughts. Rossi is such a star. There would be riots if he went to Haas. I can tell you with pretty good authority that is not going to happen. He's not going to Haas.
A lot of Sato fans in here. A lot of Sato fans.
Sato is a popular. Here's the thing: what happens with drivers? When drivers win the Indy 500, suddenly they get fans. It happened with Ryan Hunter-Reay. Ryan Hunter-Reay probably could, and Simon Pagenaud was another one. But Ryan Hunter-Reay, I remember, he could have walked through the garage, and nobody would have stopped him. And now Hunter-Reay is one of the more popular American drivers in the series. And I think it's specifically because he won an Indy 500. Not only won the Indy 500, he won the one that Kurt Busch was in. By the way, everybody who's a Sato fan, probably watching because of Alonso. Just pointing that out. It's funny when you watch your first Indy 500, Buddy Lazier was mine. You kind of start liking the driver.
Here's something I want to talk about real quick. What do you think? As far as the rookie class goes, who do you think who's the best? Who do you think's gonna?
Oh God, that's a tough. That's a tough question.
That's what I thought when I thought of it. That's why I asked.
Mm.
How do you think
I
Pelot's
think
going to do?
I think. Ooh, oh God. Okay, I'll put it this way. Oh, I got to really think about this.
Tough.
I
mean,
think
it's a good thing it's tough. It's a good thing it's tough.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so well, there's really three, right? There's Askew, VK, and Pelot. I guess I'll put it this way. I don't necessarily want to rank them, but based on what we saw today, I think Askew's probably, and I don't mean this as a slight to anybody else, is that I think Askew's probably the smartest driver of the three. I think he's the driver who's going to bring the cars home, and I think that will probably win him the Rookie of the Year. But, and a big but, VK is probably the fastest of the three. But we saw today that he is probably the most crash happy. Pelot is the one that I think is very interesting. I see the super chat. I'll get to it right now in a sec. I think Pelot is a potential to be a surprise. I don't know what he's going to do. He could be horrible. He could be the next Rick Mears. I don't know. And I think he has potential to be either of them. J. Obey Mac. Who is going to choke it at Texas like David Land did in the IndyCar Series 2005 season finale against Scott Dixon? Boom! We've already seen a choke, I think. I think crashing within the first 10 minutes was a choke by VK.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I don't want to jinx anybody.
I really don't.
I think we will see a choke, though. I guarantee you the driver leading at 190 will not win the race today. I'll put it that way.
That's a bold prediction.
Well, look at it. Well, we haven't even talked about this. This is one topic that I think will take a while. There's a tire stint limit today. Tire stint limit. 35 laps. You're only allowed to go 35 laps. There's going to be no competition caution. So if the race goes green the entire race, you're going to have to pit at 35 lap intervals. That is going to do.
We didn't even talk about that, and I forgot about that tire stint rule.
Well, see, that's something that I want to bring up because that's not 35 divided by 200. That doesn't end in an even number, does it? As far as I know. Let me get the calculator out real quick, but I'm pretty sure. I'm literally going to Google calculator. Okay. So 200, I was terrible at math. I was more of a
So was I.
artsy-fartsy guy. That's not right. 200 divided by 35. So we're expecting 6 stops. And it looks like there's probably going to be, let's see, 5.7. So we're going to go 200 times 5.71. I think that's how you do it. Oh, that's not right. That would have been divided by. I'm trying to figure out how many laps. So theoretically, we're back timing the race right now. So 200 times 0.571. No, that's not right. So it looks like there's going to be an 11 lap difference, 11 or 12 lap difference between the mandatory pit stops and the actual length of the race. People are putting the 5 points, so just under 6. So there is what 11 laps or so. Oh,
Yikes.
yeah. There's somebody's gonna bullshit a win. I'll just say it. Fuck, screw it. Somebody's gonna bullshit a win. I guarantee you. And especially if let me put it this way. What if somebody saves a set of tires?
Well, remember the rookies have an extra set.
Oh no. Pelot and Dale Coyne. Pelot and Dale Coyne. Watch it happen. He's gonna get that Champ Car spreadsheet out. He's gonna huertas him. Or Santucci will win. And Twitter will love that. It'll be great.
Yeah, they'll love it. It'll be a great night.
Could you imagine if it's all the rookies on fresh tires at the end?
Yeah. Could you imagine that?
And if it's Askew, hold on,
wow.
if it's Askew and Ferrucci side by side coming out of turn 4.
You think? Who'd you say? You think VK is the fastest out of the rookies?
I think he would be the fastest. If you put them on the exact same car, he would probably go the fastest. That's not a slight on anybody else, but I also think he'd be the first one to crash out of all of them.
I think overall, I guess you're talking about
how will fuel play a factor? It won't play a factor.
I was thinking fastest would be Pato, but I forgot that he's technically not a rookie. So
he's a rookie. He's a rookie at this track.
Because I would say, I mean, if I was really counting Pato as a rookie this whole time, but I was gonna say, single lap, who's the baddest and the fastest? I would say it'd be Pato.
People are pointing out the comparison between Champ Car in the early 2000s and this. Yep, exactly. And it wasn't good then either. That was crap, to be honest with you. So, and it's going to kind of suck from a, and I hate to say things like this, it's going to suck from a safety perspective because it's going to be so hard to pass and everybody's going to be coming into the pits at the exact same time. The pit lane is going to be a freaking madhouse. It's going to be a freaking madhouse. It's going to be crazy.
$2 from GN.
I haven't even seen it yet.
Why is there mandatory pit stops tonight?
So we've explained this a couple times already, but we'll explain it again. The COVID-19 shutdown meant that Firestone couldn't produce tires. So what we have is a mix. You're actually going to see on the left-hand side of the tires red lettering from the Indy 500. Those are the batch of tires that was left over from the Indy 500 last year. The outside tires, as I understand it, we don't know this for sure, are the tires from Texas last year. So they changed they wanted to change the compound up for this year. They had to compromise, and this is what we're left with. And they're not confident that the tires will last a full stint, which is around 70 laps on fuel. I don't know. And that's another thing. I guess I said that fuel won't factor into it at all. That's not entirely true. Because you could short fill on the last stop or other stops throughout the race, have a lighter car at the end, and fresh tires.
And a faster pit stop.
And the tire stops are so fast nowadays, though.
But if the fuel goes longer than the tires, and you can finish fuel right when the tires are ended, and you don't, that's literally a second or two, and a second or two is actually a big deal.
Well, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So yeah, maybe it will. I don't know. That's something. I'll put it this way. It's unpredictable. We don't know what the hell is going to happen. This could be the most boring race of all time, or we could get Alex Palou winning. We just don't know. Tune in. I'll say that.
No matter what.
Tune in.
This is gonna be a memorable one. Everyone's gonna remember this.
Well, and the boomer in me says I'm glad the series is starting on an oval, even though it's these circumstances which suck. For the first time since 2008 at Homestead. Well, how about we think about... Well, okay, so Scott Dixon won that race. Maybe we could see that happen again. Tony Kanaan actually was going to win Homestead 2008, and then EJ vetoed him as a lap car. And Tony Kanaan, I guess we should mention, continues his consecutive race streak, is driving the 7-Eleven car, and I would love to see that car win. I would love to see that car win. But I'm not. Then again, they look like they were pretty fast in race trim. My cat is literally trying to break into the streaming room right now. Or no, that's the dog. Never mind. Hinchcliffe win. I don't know.
Super chat.
Well, I'm waiting. Why is mine so far behind?
Best and worst meme from iRacing to happen in real life.
Meme?
Yeah. Best and
well, the worst meme would be an intentional crash. The best meme would be, I don't know. I'll be honest, I didn't really enjoy the iRacing very much.
We know.
Well, the real life iRacing, like I enjoyed doing it, watching it on TV.
Our streams were fun when we were playing it.
Well, we've got more of those streams coming up.
Did you get by the way, I saw this question earlier. Did you just get the Road to Indy content that just
I have it, I think, because I bought the Pro Mazda.
Well, you still don't have the USF, but still. Wait,
is that the one that looks more like a Champ car?
I think so. Yeah, the USF is the one that doesn't have an airbox.
Yeah. Oh, big
yeah, we got to do that soon, by the way.
Well, I want to do Cup cars at Bumpy Daytona first, even though everybody's done that. Norris will win out of nowhere. Tony Kanaan was running with a broken suspension, right, in 2008. Yeah. Viso wrecked him, and he tried to restart a race with a broken suspension, which was kind
Good
of
old Viso. I miss Viso. Or when he was with Andretti and he started leading at the 500.
Oh God, that was the moment in 2013 where I was like, maybe it's a little too easy to get out front in this race. Like,
you just gotta do that to our man EJ. Dang.
I did. I was like, I'm like, what if EJ wins this race? Like,
you gotta do that to our boy EJ.
I'm so sorry. And yeah. But it was just like, oh my God, literally all the field is leading this thing. David Rodriguez says, "What's up, David? It's David. Hey, David, how you doing?" 31 odds right now that Herta finishes ahead of Hinch. Those good odds. I feel like Herta learned from last year. I feel like he did. We'll see.
Who do you think? Okay, who do you think wins pole?
I think Dixon. I'd love to say Sato.
Mile an hour faster. Michael Cannon on the box.
I mean, you can't trust the no-toe times. That's the thing that I'm kind of... Because you say Sato has the fastest no-toe times. Okay. But... And he got the pole last year.
So, there were 11 no-toe times out of 24 cars.
Okay, so that's not even half the field. That's
take no-toe with a grain of salt. But also, that could mean... one thing I was hearing... So I was only hearing because I don't have gold... is they're basically throwing qualifying setups out the window. I mean, they just...
Okay, so if Dixon's doing 2:16 with a race setup... okay, hang on a second. I think we know who's the fast guy. Who's your all-time fave IndyCar driver? That's easy. Buddy Lazier. What about you, Kyle?
All-time?
All-time. All-time.
I don't know. Both Bobby and Graham kind of...
Over-under when Sato tries the high line. Will you accept he qualifies on a row that puts him on the outside and he does it on lap 1?
Do you think Rossi wins?
Let's
get into win predictions next stream.
Yeah, the next stream we kind of got to know how everybody's going to qualify first. It's hard to
in between streams. Another thing I've noticed, we need to set up a fantasy challenge for people to join.
Is that even a thing?
Make that a thing. Yeah, it's a thing.
I thought they got rid of that.
No, they just made it a different version, and they're confusing.
Well, that's not surprising. 560 people still watching this. Man, you guys are awesome. We got 358 likes. I didn't look at that for a while. Wow. You think we can get 400 in the next 3 minutes? So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up in the next 3 minutes. So if you guys have anything else in the chat to get out, we'll be back in about an hour or so, or an hour and a half, hour 45, whatever it is. Because I think I set 15 minutes after the stream to go. Let's take a look real quick one more time at the Fast 6, if I can find it. That's the wrong thing. I'm gonna have to name these better next time. There we go. And then I've got to get rid of that other thing. Where's this? I think.
So one thing to remember about the Fast 6. So it's anything Dixon does, just to start out right now. Remember, he has not. I don't remember the last time he had an engineer change, and to have a brand new engineer and to be going this quick is super impressive. But I mean, expect nothing less from Scott Dixon. And I remember you specifically pointed out Texas is a place that Veach has struggled out because he hasn't finished. Keep this in mind about Veach. Texas is his favorite track. And in 2018, before he barely hit the wall, he was coming through the field and he was doing quite well. And he was doing well enough last year to where, his moves were in the highlights until he hit the wall. So if Veach doesn't hit the wall, Texas is a place that he's actually quite good at. So if he finishes, which is why he struggled. So yeah, definitely.
Somebody's saying I made a typo.
6, but a good.
Where's the typo? I'm looking for it. Where did I miss it? I'm trying to look.
Geneysis.
Oh, did it? Is that
Y
it?
where the N is.
You're right. You're right. Well, I'll fix
GCs.
that. I'll fix that for the next.
GCs.
I will fix that for the next stream. Oh, we lost the camera.
GSEs.
It's hard to spell. It's hard to spell.
Oh, Alan from New Zealand with a super chat.
Oh, 40 New Zealand. God almighty. Hey, guys, is there no toe speeds? Didn't see practice. Yeah, there are, but there were only 11 registered. Texas is such a small track that it's hard to know. So I guess we can say that Sato was fastest in the no toes at 2:10, wasn't it? But we really don't know for sure who's going to be fast and who's going to be slow. But that's what qualifying is for, and it's going on in like 40 minutes. Do we have anything else to say right at the end here, Kyle?
Let's go Big Chungus in P2. Shout out to Big Chungus.
Yeah, Colton.
That's all I got.
Yeah, Colton. Again, he was the show last year, and it would be cool to see that Hank Steinbrenner car livery paint scheme in Victory Lane. Again, I just have such a hard time saying that what we saw in practice is going to translate to the race. I have no idea. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Okay, we're going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, like the stream if you enjoyed it. We're going to be doing 2 more of these today, both on qualifying and on the race. Thank you guys so much for the support. This exceeded my expectations. I'm so glad that this went well, and I'm glad you guys liked it. Thank you. We'll see you in the next video when we talk about what happened in qualifying and give you our predictions officially for the Geneysis, I will spell it right the next time, 300 at Texas Motor Speedway.